welcome to our little high school football show. It's Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network. Thanks for joining in. And Jandy got a little ambitious tonight, sent us out to a lot of football games. So we got 16 games coming up tonight. And
a lot of those are 9-man variety, too. And we're going to call this 9-man week. I'm unofficially calling it 9-man week. We went out and set the cameras out to, I don't know, what did we get, 5, 6, 7 games, something like that, for just the 9-man variety. And that kind of highlights around the 9-man story we're doing next week on Midco Magazine.
All right. Plenty of 11-man football
Plenty
as
of
well tonight. All right, let's get to the Viewer's Choice Game of the Week first of all. And this is a game, or these are games coming up next week. You can vote up until 10:55 here tonight.
25 minutes to make your vote. Right now, one of these, like Brandon Roosevelt winning the vote.
Those are your two choices. You can go on Facebook, you can go on Twitter, and pick one of those games that we will go out and shoot next week, and then it will air the following Wednesday.
Yep, enjoying those.
All right, in North Dakota tonight, let's get to Minot, your number 2 team in North Dakota in the big schools, Jandy. Legacy led this game 14-13 at halftime, and then Minot blows them away in the second
looking
half.
Forward to highlights on that one. Huge defensive performance by the Magi.
West Fargo's number 1 in everybody's book, 33-0 tonight over Fargo North, so the Packers stay undefeated there. We'll take a look at that. Bismarck Century rolls over Dickinson 41-6. Century is 4-2 now on the season, and do not forget about them.
They're getting stronger and stronger. This is a quality win against Dickinson, just outside the top 5, and they handled them tonight physically.
Another team that is going to be tough in the playoffs. Bismarck 56-6 tonight over Jamestown. We'll take a look at that one as well. Fargo Davies evens out the season at 3-3 as they shut out Grand Forks Central tonight.
That's 3 in a row for them.
And Fargo South, Jandy, over Devils Lake. South is 3-1 in the EDC. They get a Xander Lekowski touchdown. This game was scoreless at halftime, and then South wins at 14-6.
Yeah, Devils Lake can play with a lot of teams. Haven't been able to take that extra step and get that win. And Fargo South looking good record-wise in the EDC, but I'm sure Coach Troy Mattern would like to see a little bit more out of this team.
All right, West Fargo Cheyenne gets to 3-3 on the season. That score, I believe, should be flipped around. 38-22. West Fargo Cheyenne did beat Red River tonight. We'll take a look at those highlights coming up.
And then, Willis and Mandan both desperate for a win. In the west side of the state, looks like the Coyotes came out ahead.
Williston is 3-3. Mandan still winless on the season. And then in 2A in North Dakota, you had Fargo Shanley at home. And this game was tight all the way throughout, and Shanley comes away 16-7. We got highlights of that one coming up as well.
Looking forward to that. 2 real contenders in AA this year.
And so is Bismarck St. Mary's.
I think we got 1 contender in this game.
As they beat Watford City tonight 42-0. So lots of highlights coming up from the big school games in North Dakota, and 1 9-man game as well from Shiloh Christian coming up.
Let's talk about the app. I have been checking my Midco SN app all night long, and let me tell you.
Attention, football fans.
It is handy. Yeah, we've got scores updating throughout the night. And coaches, if you want to get live updates, there's a way to do that. If you go to midcosn.com/app, you can get your school signed up so we can get instant updates.
Free in your app store.
That's right.
For all.
It's been popular so far, and looking forward to keep sharing those scores all over the states.
All right, South Dakota scores tonight, Jason. Roosevelt rolls over Brookings 58-14. The Riders are 6-0 on the season.
Yeah, we'll look at we don't have highlights of these top 2 teams this week, so I'm going to tell you a little bit. Torrin Devricks was out last week with a little bit of an injury. He was ready to go at game time, and he was firing the ball all over the field. There was really no contest in that one. And then the second game, Washington Pier, that was a contest. There were a few times this game was tied throughout the night, but Jaden Johansson, another huge night for the sophomore. I think he threw 4 touchdowns on the night. Peyton Zabel on the other side, the junior quarterback for Pier, threw a couple, ran one in himself, but in the end, this is a high-scoring game. It just got over maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, and Warriors outlasted them.
Washington led 27-20 at halftime, and then Washington pulls away, and they're going to win big there with some big numbers again. Sioux Falls O'Gorman is 4-2 now, Jandy. Highlights of this one coming up as they beat Yankton tonight at the MAC 35-14.
Yeah, looking forward to highlights. I think we see another star emerging, Canyon Bauer, with a big night for the Knights.
Brandon Valley out in Rapid City rolls over Central 44-10. Highlights of that coming as well.
Yep, just still in the fourth quarter, but Brandon Valley firmly in control there.
Harrisburg is your number 1 team in 11 AA, and they whip Aberdeen Central tonight at home 35-7.
Now, they came off a couple of tough losses. Their schedule was against really good AAA teams. And this week, another good AAA team, and they took care of them.
Big night running the ball for Jack Anderson for Harrisburg. Mitchell is 5-1. They are your number 2 team right behind Harrisburg in 11 AA. Big night again for Spencer Negebauer, who accounted for all 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, you can't stop that guy. I think, what did we count? He's up to 18 touchdowns, I think, on the year, somewhere right around there.
16 rushing 16? For sure.
Yeah, they had a couple receiving as well.
All right, Rapid City Stevens over Watertown tonight, 24-3.
How about that? How about that? Rapid City Stevens putting together a plus 500 team this year. They've got some weapons. Peyton Oxner has done a great job. He's running 6 touchdowns himself, plus a nice game for him tonight.
Huron is 4-2. They get a Highland Hines touchdown pass to Clay Corco with 24 seconds left to beat Spearfish 26-20.
I think a little closer than Coach Schmitz would have liked this one to be, but they'll take the win on the road.
St. Thomas More is 6-0 in 11A in South Dakota, 28-7 tonight over Douglas. St. Thomas More will host Spearfish coming up next week.
Always interesting to see just how good is this Cavalier team. Don't know by their schedule, but I think they are a contender in 11A.
Hot Springs, the Bison over Sturgis tonight, 38-0 in that one. In 11A, Madison over Sioux Falls Christian, and apparently one of the highlights of the year in this game on a catch for one of the Yankees from Madison. We'll take a look at that coming up later.
Looking forward to that one.
And Groton area on top of Sisseton in 11B. Groton area is 6-0 on the season.
Yeah, that's a team. They've had a couple close games the last 2 weeks. This week took care of business.
All right, as mentioned, we're going to get to a lot of 9-man games coming up later. We're going to go through all the 11-man games in North Dakota and South Dakota here first. So let's start. This was the game on Thursday night with Minot taking on Bismarck Legacy. Both of these teams 4-1 coming into this game, Jason, and Legacy won its first 4, lost to Century last week, though. Minot gets on top early. Carter Anderson with the first touchdown.
This backfield for Minot. They feature about 3 backs, and on any given week, any of them can find their way into the end zone. There you see Anderson going in. Legacy
evens it up. Jason Hoekstra with the touchdown to make it 7-7. And then Minart right back at him, though. Peyton Lamori gets the sweep. Goes 69 yards on this touchdown to make it 13-7.
Yeah, this guy had about, 3 carries on the night, almost 100 yards. You see a bulk of them right there. Just like I said, that backfield, you can plug anybody in, and they're finding ways to score.
Legacy, though, comes right back and almost evens it up. This is Hoekstra again, and he gets down to the 1-yard line. He would score a touchdown one play later.
Yeah, he wasn't throwing the ball exceptionally well, but he was running the ball great.
Legacy led 14-13 at halftime, and then Minot rolled in the second half. Creighton Rudolph going the other way, 17 goes 71 yards.
Rudy, he's had a great year. What a job by the junior to really pick up where Ben Belinsky left off and really lead this offense.
So Minot in the lead, 19-14. And then Rudolph here will find Peyton Lamro. This is after a couple of touchdowns by Minot's Elijah Wickham. 28 straight points for Minot, and they go on to beat Legacy in this one, 41-14, Jason. So Minot is 5-1 overall. They are 4-0 in the West.
That's the key. They are still unbeaten in the West. That's where they want to be, that number 1 seed, to play that home game before they have to potentially get back to the Dakota Bowl.
And then the Minot-Bismarck matchup coming up next week. 41-14 the final there on Thursday. Fargo North at West Fargo tonight. West Fargo, everybody's number 1 team, 5-0 coming into this game. They're outscoring opponents by an average of 32-10 so far this season. But North with a little defense there. Josh Holler with the sack. But then West Fargo gets going. Andy Gravdahl to Hobby Simon, who made a couple of touchdown catches tonight.
Yeah. Simone is such a great athlete. He's got the cast off now, fully functional on both hands, and uses those hands to pull it in. Find his way to the end zone. 7-0
Packers. This is the big lineman for West Fargo. That's Brandon Metz, and that's a 60-yard punt when it all rolls to a stop.
Yeah, just a tremendous athlete. Obviously a great wrestler, great punter. He can rush the quarterback. He won't come off the field on offense either. He plays both sides of the ball. Just a great guy. You want 11 of those guys on your team.
A little West Fargo defense. Surprise Giroux is the young man's name of the sack there, number 41. And then Chase Tyken came into this game with 12 rushing touchdowns, and he gets going on the ground right here. Shifty for 40 yards.
Look at that. Yeah, you got to give a pat on the back for the blocking, but A guy like Chase Tyken creates yards by himself, too.
There's Metz 40 yards downfield with him, and then Tyken again for 15 yards. Did not get a touchdown on this drive. Gravdahl will take it in for the touchdown here to make it 14-0, but Andy Gravdahl came into this game with 6 touchdown passes. He had 3 of them tonight, a couple of them to Simone, and 33-0 is the final as West Fargo goes to 6-0.
Nobody's surprised by the Packers dominating on offense, playing great defense, but I think they might be surprised a little bit by the quarterback play. Andy Gravdahl has been outstanding this year, coming in as a junior.
Gravdahl and Tyken and Metz, and those guys are good. 6-0 in the season. Jamestown at Bismarck High tonight, and Bismarck 4-1, 2-1 in the West coming into this ball game. And this is Will Madler to Jalen Sprecher, and they are on the move early. And then Lucas Butts at 6'2", 220 pounds, Jandy, for the touchdown.
Yeah, they're throwing it a little bit more this year, but this is classic Bismarck Demons ball. Making your blocks, using a guy like Lucas Butts 20 to 30 or plus times in a game.
Little Demon defense. That's Sprecher on the interception for Bismarck. And then Madler will hook it up a couple plays after that to Connor Pitts for a touchdown.
Nice throw there. Yeah, they throw the ball a little bit more. Madler can get that done, and they put on a little bit of an exhibition tonight offensively.
Here's Butts with some speed getting to the outside, and they're going to corral him finally after 57 yards on this run for Butts. And then Madler on a pitch here to Sprecher for another touchdown for Bismarck.
Yeah, they are able to spread it out a little bit. Butts obviously with the great year, but Sprecher comes in, gives him a breather, and he finds his way to the end zone.
A little thunder and lightning there in the backfield for Bismarck as they win 56-6 tonight. So the Demons are 5-1 overall. They are 3-1 in the division. Jamestown 1-5 now on the season. And again, Bismarck takes on Minot coming up next week.
That's a huge game for the Bismarck Demons to see. Are they on par with the elite in the state next week?
Same could be said about Bismarck Century. Do you believe that?
I do believe that. Century had that one hiccup week, and since then, they've been on fire. Last week with a dominant win. This week, got off to a great start against Dickinson.
Well, Dickinson was 4-1.
Yeah, they're a good
coming
team.
Into this game. Their only loss this season has been to Bismarck, and that is Jacob Rader.
Nice. He's not going out of bounds, folks. He's going to fight for those extra yards.
And then Jacob Olson on the keeper for the touchdown for Century.
Great first drive against a team that's very physical. Century showed they can go toe-to-toe with power, not just through the air. But they can do it that too.
Yeah, goes to the air here to Luke Little. Gets loose for a touchdown.
Great year for the Patriots throwing the ball. Jacob Olson has been steady all season long.
Well, Century defense coming up here as well, Jandy. This is going to be Cole Anderson right down at the goal line in the end zone, actually. Anderson with the interception for the Patriots, and they will turn it around into a touchdown. Olson to Nate Simons this time for 6.
Yeah, depth is a huge advantage for Century. They just have so many good players they can go to, and they showed it. They spread the ball around tonight.
Trey Pagimula for a touchdown. They'll add another one here by Jacob Rader coming up later. Century rolls up 41 points tonight. 41-6 is the final over Dickinson. And again, Dickinson only its second loss of the season. They get a late Sean Steffen touchdown pass, but 41-6 is the final here.
Dickinson's game is Sean Steffen distributing the ball to Anand Moody. Give credit to the Patriots, what they did defensively to shut down a good offensive attack that Dickinson normally features.
All right, Century, meanwhile, 4-2 now, and taking on Jamestown coming up next week. In Grand Forks tonight, Big Red Country, Red River at home tonight, taking on West Fargo Cheyenne. Both of these teams 2-3 coming in. Cheyenne took that 30-28 loss to Fargo Davies last week, and they traded scores early on. Red River, Parker Wenzel to Austin Slaughter for a touchdown.
Now, this is the EDC, folks. Anything can happen except for West Fargo this year. It just depends who executes, and look at these two teams, both executing in the passing game early on.
Zach Westfall with a catch there for a Cheyenne touchdown.
Huge catch. That's awesome.
Missed the extra point. Still 7-6, and then Cheyenne gets into the lead. Jason Galrep with a touchdown. 12-7, Mustangs in the lead.
Another team that has a couple guys they can feed the ball to.
That was all in the first quarter. Second quarter here, halfback pass. Carlos Martin.
That never works.
To Devin Pope, who waits and takes it in, and Red River takes the lead.
You could not get more wide open. I guarantee they'll be looking at that one in the film room.
Cheyenne, though, right back at him. This is Keaton Mankey with the touchdown. And the Mustangs go back in the lead 18-14. And then they're going to get another one on the ground here from Galrep to go up 25-14.
Powerful run up the middle. Galrep getting the job done. Hayden Reynolds has done a good job running the ball for them too. And Keaton Mankey has run the ball great for the Mustangs this year as well.
Mankey again. Cheyenne up 32-14 on the road. And then Red River not done. They get a touchdown from Wenzel to get within 32-22, and the Mustangs tack on another one, 38-22. So Cheyenne is now 3-3 on the season.
Much needed road win for the Mustangs.
All right. We got a 2A game here, Jandy, with Fargo Shanley taking on Kindred. Kindred at 5-0 coming in. This is them in the white unis here. 7-3, Kindred in the lead at halftime in the third quarter here. Derek Huska gets to the outside, goes 51 yards, and they take him down inside the red zone. But Kindred had a couple of issues inside the 5-yard line. 4th and goal from the 2, and Shanley stuffs them.
You know, football is a simple game. It comes down to those lines, and Shanley bent a lot tonight, but they did not break at the goal line.
All right, Shanley gets stopped at midfield here. Punt. Takes a tricky hop here. Brock Benson going after it. He did touch it. And Haley Buckles has it inside the 5-yard line of Kindred. And one play later, it's going to be their really good running back, Matthew Bird, for a touchdown to put Shanley in the lead 10-7.
Yeah, Bird back, taking snaps for the Deacons has made a big difference between that and their defense and getting huge plays like that. I mean, you've got a razor-thin difference talent-wise between these teams. Big plays like that will tip the scales.
Ethan Lincoln on the keeper. 17 yards. Again, they're inside the Shanley 20-yard line, but again, the Deacon defense. Austin Yagi gets to the quarterback first there, and then Colby Johnson helps him out, and they keep Kindred out of the end zone again. And then you're going to see Shanley going at it right here. Bird dropping to pass, and it's picked off by Nikki Zink for Kindred, so the Vikings get the ball right back, though.
You know what? This game, it was so close, but just too many missed opportunities for the Vikings.
Still 10-7 in the fourth. Kindred on a 4th and 15, and Lincoln over the middle to Zink. They get a first down on 4th and 15. Have to settle for a field goal attempt, and it goes wide. So again, they were close, but Kindred still trailing. It's still 10-7 Shanley, and then Shanley puts it in Bird's hands. And he takes it most of the way down the field, 39 yards on that carry. And then they will get it again to Haley Buckles for the touchdown late in the ball game with under 2 minutes to go. Makes it 16-7 Shanley, and Kindred oh so close, but that's the final, 16-7. And both of these teams now are 5-1 on the season.
And I think Kindred is definitely in that group of the elite in AA right now. But you have to execute at those critical times in the red zone, and they couldn't do that.
All right, let's go to South Dakota now, Jandy.
Yes. Big night in 11-man football in South Dakota as well.
All right, let's go to Sioux Falls. First of all, you got Lincoln at Howard Woodfield taking on Mitchell. Mitchell coming in at 4-1 on the season.
Here's the story, though. Look at who's playing quarterback for Lincoln.
Preston Eisenbraun is back at QB, and he's, as far as you know, playing with a torn ACL. Is that right?
Yeah, he's got a messed up knee, that's for sure. I thought he was out for the year. It couldn't get any worse, so they said, let's just let him go out there and play with the hurt knee.
All right, Sam Mickles had that interception for Mitchell, and then Spencer Negebauer, his first touchdown of the game. And then this is his, not his second yet. This will be his second coming up here in the second quarter as they flip it around. Negebauer for a touchdown to make it 14-0 Mitchell.
Tough runner. He just keeps grinding out tough yards near the goal line. There's nobody better in the state at turning those runs into 6 points.
And then they'll throw it once in a while with Keel Nelson. Negebauer takes it the final 20 yards. So it's 21-0 Mitchell in the lead.
That was his only completion of the first half, by the way. A 55-yard touchdown to his buddy Spencer Negebauer, who turns in another 4-touchdown performance.
Eisenbraun did throw a late touchdown to Eric Luby for Lincoln's touchdown here, but 28-7. So the Colonels are 5-1. They are at Brookings. They got Brookings, Pierre, and Huron left on the schedule. So we'll see how far Mitchell can go in the regular season. Rapid City Central is up next for Sioux Falls Lincoln. In Rapid City tonight, Brandon Valley facing off against Rapid City Central. And the Lynx at 3-2 coming into this game. And Brandon Valley takes control early. Spencer Grage with the catch down to about the 10-yard line, and they get a field goal out of that drive. And then another Lynx possession. Alex Waltner punching it in to make it 10-0.
Yeah, Rapid City Central's D has been pretty stout this year at times, but Brandon Valley had no trouble moving it deep into the territory. And you see that hard hit on defense. Hagan, I think, came up with a catch there and held on.
Yeah, Central did get a field goal there, but next possession, Waltner to Chase Grody for a touchdown. 20-3 at that point, and Brandon Valley goes on to win it 41-10. So the Lynx are 4-2 on the season.
They got a big game next week at Roosevelt.
All right, back in Sioux Falls, Jandy, we got Sioux Falls O'Gorman at 3-2. Their only losses are to Washington and Roosevelt so far. And Hunter Thompson and Canyon Bauer had a huge night. Huge plays all over the field for O'Gorman. That one goes for 51 yards. And then Thompson to Canyon Bauer again, 66 yards on this touchdown.
He can get outside, and he can also catch the ball on a middle screen like that in traffic and find his way to the outside. Canyon Bauer is a special player, and Hunter Thompson, he's been a really good quarterback for O'Gorman this year.
Thompson had a touchdown run squeezed in between those two highlights, so it's 21-0. O'Gorman in the lead, and then some OG defense.
Look at that. He just dominated the line, got through to the backfield. Huge story for the Knights, and Nieman Legacy with the fake handoff there, and look at that. Faked everybody else out. Hunter Thompson finds his way to the end zone for a long, what is that,
64 yards.
64-yarder.
28-0. O'Gorman in the lead at halftime. Legacy added a touchdown later. Nate Stevenson to Rex Riken for a touchdown for the Bucks a little later on to make it 35-7, but there's the final. And the Knights now are 4-2. And again, their losses to Washington and Roosevelt. That's it so far.
Yeah, I think they've overachieved almost everyone's expectations coming into this year. The Knights could cause some problems if they get deep into the playoffs.
All right, Yankton is 2-4, and they are coming up at Huron next. Harrisburg at home, Jandy, taking on Aberdeen Central.
Third week in a row against a AAA team. They got stymied the last 2 weeks, especially in the second half both of the last weeks. This week got out to a great start with Jack Anderson. Anderson
had 25 carries tonight for 131 yards. His touchdown there to make it 7-0. Tigers in the lead. Then they bang it in again to go up 14-0.
They're at their best when they can use him, and that's a huge defensive line he just crashed into. The Harrisburg offensive line having an excellent year. Lost 2 D1 players on their line, and they've come back and they've played as physical or more physical than anybody else in the class.
All right, 2 touchdowns there for Anderson, and then Aberdeen on the 3-yard line. Jackson Gaines picks it off right at the goal line, takes it back the other way.
He's been on the spot a lot this year. He's done a great job in that defensive backfield.
All right, and then Hunter Headley's going to air it out here to Cole Teagan. Nobody even close. That's a touchdown. 21-0 Harrisburg at halftime.
Yeah, that's a big play. They need big plays in this offense. Hunter Headley finding the open receiver, taking it all the way.
And I think that might have been Justice Clayton.
I think that's Justice Clayton.
That was Clayton on that touchdown grab. 21-0. Either way, Aberdeen, though, gets an interception off the bounce here.
Just an unfortunate bounce, but capitalized.
Jack Anderson again.
Is that 3 for him on the night?
He would get in there. Aberdeen would get on the board, though, before the game was over.
I don't think that was Jack Anderson, unless he cut his hair at halftime. But either way, a nice running touchdown. Credit the offensive line up front. Tigers getting it done.
35-7 is the final in this one. So Harrisburg 4-2 on the season. Aberdeen Central drops now to 3-3.
Still undefeated in class for Harrisburg.
All right, we will hear from Brandon White, the Harrisburg head coach, coming up a little bit later. Sioux Falls Christian taking on Madison tonight. Both of these teams 5-0 coming in, and I thought Christian would give them a pretty good run.
They did last year, that's for sure.
Madison, though, get on the board first. Josh Giles to Mason Layton for a touchdown, 7-0.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Giles only had 2 incomplete passes the past 2 weeks. Throws a pick 6 here, so Sioux Falls Christian has to feel good about cashing that one in.
Tanner Rue takes that back. Madison still up 7-6 after the pick 6 by Rue. And then in the second quarter here, Giles, Noah Guzzi for long yardage. It sets up a Riley Yankee touchdown there. Madison up 14-6. And then into the third quarter here. That's Jaden Yankee. Stretches it in. Madison up 21-6. And then this coming up here is the play that everybody's talking about. Into the third quarter, Giles. And look
I
at
hadn't seen that
catch by Jackson Yankee. who catches it off the back of Tanner Rue.
No.
And that's a touchdown on the amazing grab by Yankee. Madison up 28-6.
Yeah, I was just going to say they do such a good job just pounding it, but they also can make the spectacular play like that.
Christian can throw the football, but Prinz is picked off here. Mason Layton with the interception late in the third quarter.
Yeah, he's involved in at least one big play a week. This week, that big pick and a touchdown.
And then Giles will go to Noah Guzzi, and he will slip a tackle there. Makes it 34-6 at the end of the third quarter, and the Bulldogs just keep on rolling.
Yeah, they haven't lost a step with Josh Giles at quarterback this year. He's done a phenomenal job taking over this program, and they just keep putting impressive win after impressive win together. Clear leader in 11A this year.
All right, first loss for Sioux Falls Christian. They're 5-1. The Bulldogs are 6-0. They will host Canton coming up next weekend in Madison. All right.
Let's get to the nine-man stuff.
Nine-man stuff coming up here in a little bit. We got some highlights from Shiloh Christian. We've got a story coming up on Midco Sports Magazine with this guy. We'll talk about that next.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live, and a bit of an ode to nine-man football tonight, Jason.
Yeah, we're going to spend the next several minutes talking about nine-man football because we put a story together about nine-man football for Midco Sports Magazine, which airs next Monday at 6:30, and we've got a little clip of it right here to get you ready for it.
You got somebody that can run a little bit, and on a 100-yard field, it makes a whole ton of difference because you got to defend sideline to sideline.
It's more like basketball where it's on you. You can't hide out there.
You got to be running all the time because, like you said, you got a bigger field. You're doing a lot of running.
Chad Greenway.
Chad Greenway.
I didn't really realize that we were different, until you get older. Then you realize there's an 11-man ball in the state, and then you kind of start watching the NFL and you start counting the numbers and you're like, okay, we're different. But then it doesn't really resonate to you because that's just what we did. I started getting recruiting and realized that the people had a problem, with believing that a nine-man player could be legitimately good enough to be able to compete at a high level, and that was something I had to overcome, and a lot of nine-man players have to overcome.
It's a really good story put together by Jason Andera.
And Josh Muntz.
And our producer, Josh Muntz, on Midco Sports Magazine, Monday night at 6:30, and then it'll replay next week. But
so fun to dig into this culture of nine-man football. It's not that much different than 11-man football, but there are definite, unique qualities that you don't get everywhere. So we're going to show a few extra nine-man highlights just to get everybody revved up for nine-man football.
All right, in North Dakota, nine-man. You got Shiloh Christian is in Bismarck, by the way. Shiloh Christian, the Skyhawks, 6-0, coming into this game, taking on Center Stanton. And they've got 13 guys on their roster. You talk about a nine-man team, this is it.
Yeah, that's one of the issues, you bet.
This is the offense they give there to Kanan Fagerland. It's 8-0, Skyhawks in the lead, and then right after the kickoff there, Bartholomew Agbu picks it up and scores there. And Shiloh's got a couple of touchdowns, and the offense hasn't really had the ball yet. Trevor Melhoff makes it 16-0, Shiloh Christian. And they're ahead less than a minute into the game. It's 16-0, Jandy.
Yeah, this is just a very skilled team. Only a few losses over the past few seasons from this Shiloh Christian team, which used to really struggle in football just a few years ago. And now, week in, week out, year in, year out, this is a powerful team getting it done. And I'll tell you what, they are a definite threat this year to go all the way. One of the 3 undefeated teams left in North Dakota nine-man football. No problem tonight with Center Stanton.
Got that touchdown from Nick Pfaff to Fagerland. Cody Grease on the conversion there. And then, again, Center Stanton out there by Bismarck. Numbers down. They've only got 13 guys on the roster. And Shiloh Christian is a powerhouse in nine-man, and 52-6 is the final tonight.
Yeah, Kanan Fagerland, huge night for him. He's just a sophomore. getting it done for Shiloh Christian.
Shiloh Christian is 7-0 on the season. And then selected 9-man games on the scoreboard
we'll
here
highlight some
tonight.
of the top
Jason, let's
teams
go
here.
through some of these. Thompson is your number 1 team in North Dakota in the 9-man ranks.
Yep, no problem. This was a little bit of a hurdle for them. They look like they're going to secure their region with this win over New Rockford Cheyenne. And then you see the score from Shiloh Christian, one of the other undefeated teams. The only other undefeated team, North Prairie, and they got it done tonight against Drake on a Moose. And then Cavalier, we did not see a score there, but I think they're a top team, even though they just have the one loss to Thompson this year. They're going to be a tough team to scrape out of that region.
New Salem goes to 6-1.
Yeah, they only have one loss this year, and that was to Shiloh Christian back in week 1. Big win against Bauman County. And then Linton HMB taking on Napoleon Gackle Streeter. That ranking's wrong. I'd probably put that in there wrong. But Napoleon Gackle Streeter, that's another team to watch out for. They're in the same region as Shiloh Christian. I think it could be an interesting game on their way to the deep into the playoffs.
And there's only one regular season game left in 9-man in North Dakota, and then they get into the playoffs the following week.
Yeah, watch out for that NGS team with Dalton Jangula. Steven Schumacher did great. Bakken tonight with almost 200 yards on the ground for the Imperials.
All right, let's get to some 9-man games in South Dakota tonight, Jason. Gregory, undefeated at 5-0, coming into this one against Woolsey, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central.
Woonsocket, not Woolsey. Just because they're picky out there. They're picky
Woolsey,
out
Wessington, Woonsocket, Wessington Springs.
there. Yes, you got it.
That is Andy McCants to Joseph Veskerna, and it's 8-0, Gregory in the lead.
By the way, my rankings, I combined my 9-man teams. I just vaulted Gregory to the number 1 team. They have had an incredibly tough schedule, and they keep doing stuff like this against really good teams.
Jade Vanderwerf picks up the fumble there and goes the other way for Gregory, and that'll turn in.
He's a top defensive player in the state in 9-man football. He is unbelievable.
To another Gorilla touchdown. That's J.J. Beck. Scores, makes it 16-0 Gregory at halftime.
They're doing this against a very tough team. These Blackhawks are big and strong, and Gregory, at times, made them look like they didn't belong on the same field.
Third quarter now.
Woo. Nice grab.
McCants, that's Vanderwerf again, who had that fumble recovery earlier on. 24-0. Gorillas in the lead, and then in the fourth, the Blackhawks get on the board here. Trent Kingsbury to Drew Olinger. 4-6 for Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central, and then Gregory answers again. Vanderwerf with another touchdown, leaping across there, and Gregory stays unbeaten tonight. 32-6 is the final over Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central.
It's going to be tough to beat those Gorillas this year. 9AA stacked, but I think they just look a notch better than everybody else right now.
Staying in 9-man, we've got Mount Vernon Plankington at home taking on Canastota. Both of these teams 4-0 coming into this game, Jandy. And Scott Jolly, the quarterback for Canastota, taking it in there. 8-0, Hawks in the lead. And after a Canastota fumble, though, Jesse Hastings with a touchdown.
Yeah, both of these teams, by the way, came in undefeated. Mount Vernon and Plankington playing in probably the toughest region in the state in Region 3. One of the only undefeated teams left, and only undefeated team in that region left, coming in against Canastota, who maybe had a little easier schedule, but Canastota had something to prove on this night. Their first year in 9AA.
All right, they tie it up 8-8, and then this is the last play of the first half. Jolly stepping out of trouble to Levi Waldhauser.
Who says they can't pass in 9-man football?
For the touchdown, and Canastota in the lead 14-8 at halftime.
That's when the Hawks poured it on, though, and you just kind of get a feeling which teams are more physical by how you do in the second half. Well, these Hawks did just fine in the second half.
This is a sophomore for Canastota. Austin Thu had that touchdown, and then he goes 88 yards on that one to make it 28-8. And then he adds a pick six a little later on to make it 34-8. And Canastota rolls 34-14 to get to 5-0 on the season.
Yeah, back to the drawing board for the Titans. They're only one loss on the year. I still think they can play with some of these elite teams, but it also gives me a better idea of where Canastota is right now. And after the game, we caught up with the Hawks.
That was a great win. MVP, they're a really tough team, and we had some guys out today, and I'm amazed by how great we stepped up tonight, and I can't be more proud of this team and everyone that contributed to this win.
Big games throughout the season show you just how far they can go, and I think they're right with a small group of teams in 9AA that can get it done.
All right, 9AA Bonham was at Coleman Egan tonight up in Coleman. Coleman playing in 9A.
I think this is the game of the night here.
And Coleman Egan 4-0 coming into this game. They've scored 44 points in their last 3 ball games. Cavs get things going. Chase Corton. And it's 7-0 Bonham after that 12-yard touchdown. But the Hawks come right back. Walker Olivier finds some space inside, and Coleman Egan gets into the lead 8-7. But they would go back and forth throughout the evening. Jandy Corton's second touchdown. Bonham back up 13-8.
He's a versatile back, can come out of the backfield. He can line up outside. Does everything.
Coleman Egan right back at it. Olivier again. Toe touching down the sideline. 37 yards on that touchdown. And Coleman Egan back in the lead, 14-13.
You talk about back and forth. This is the way it was all night long between these two 9-man powers.
Corton, again, third touchdown of the game. And Bonham back on top, 21-14. And then if Corton gets his third, you know what's coming. From Olivier, gets his third. They missed the extra point, though. It's 21-20. Bonham in the lead at this point. Bonham again, Corton. This time through the air from Bryce Shazinski. And Bonham in the lead, Jandy, 27-20. But just seconds before halftime, Coleman Egan comes right back at him. Keith Crittenden on a 13-yard run. And Coleman Egan at the half, after all that, is in the lead, 28-27. Third quarter, Bonham takes the lead back again.
This is incredible.
This is Chase Corton's 5th touchdown of the night to put Bonham back in the lead, 33-28. Hawks come right back at him. They fake the run, a little play action over the middle to Malik Poppinga. That goes 38 yards for a touchdown. Hawks back in the lead, 34-33. End of the third quarter, though, you know what's coming. Mace Merkwan, this time it's not Corton.
Oh, the tiptoe.
Stays in for the touchdown. Bonham is in the lead, 41-40.
What just happened? Nice run.
Coleman Egan would get a fourth quarter touchdown, would go for 2. They would not get it. Bonham hangs on to win 41-40. There were 8 lead changes during the ball game.
We got almost every one of them, too. That was a great job.
So Bonham is 3-2 now. It's the first loss of the season for Coleman Egan as they go to 4-1 on the season. More 9-man, Jandy. Irene Wakanda taking on Corsica Stickney.
Irene Wakanda, one of those few teams in 9-man football that loves to pass the ball. You see Tate Gale throwing it, but Corsica Stickney was ready for it.
Picked off there by Clayton Menning for Corsica Stickney, and then Menning does it on offense as well. 17 yards on the touchdown there. Menning again. That is another pick for Menning, and this one goes back for a touchdown. Irene Wakanda in the lead, and then another interception for Irene Wakanda. This time it is Blake Moak with the pick. And that'll turn into another Irene Wakanda touchdown for Clayton Menning.
Just not the kind of start Irene Wakanda wanted. Like I said, love to throw the ball, but you got to live and die by that when that's your game.
All right, Corsica Stickney got tired of giving it to Clayton Menning, so they give it this time to Cordell Menning for a touchdown. And then Irene Wakanda trying to get something going here. Gale to Levi Van Beek with a beautiful grab there. And then Chandler Lee on the reception. Gale hooking it up again. And then Gale scrambling this time. Making a play. He will hook it up with Cody Oyen.
Oh, then he lost it.
And then they lose the fumble after all of that. And Corsica Stickney with the Mennings win it 51-0 tonight over Irene
watch out.
Wakanda.
The Jaguars, a team you're going to have to watch for going forward. The Eagles, they'd average 242 yards passing a game coming into this one, but Corsica Stickney was definitely ready for that.
Corsica Stickney in 9B. They're 5-0 now on the season. One more ball game to get to tonight. Beautiful shot in Harriet Selby tonight, taking on Potter County. Potter County, formerly known as Gettysburg Hoven, and they come into this game 4-0. Dawson Meyer on the run there for Harriet Selby. And then Carson Vandervorst will take it in for a touchdown for the Wolverines.
How about that? The
That's Meyer right there. He got
officials are
stopped.
taking a beating tonight.
Here's Vandervorst with the touchdown.
There it is. And a good job by Harriet Selby to stay in this one against an undefeated Potter County, who I think is still a contender in 9A this year. It's going to be interesting to see how Harriet Selby does going from this point, getting some confidence, even though they didn't get the win in this one.
Yeah, Logan Schaefbauer there on the 2-point conversion. So Harriet Selby in the lead, 8-0. But then Potter County scores 20 straight points. Ben Kruger on the keeper for a touchdown for Potter County. Tanner Storr will tack on the 2-point conversion, ties it up at 8-8. And Potter County goes on to roll from there. 20-8 is the final. So the Battlers are 5-0 now on the season in Class 9A.
How about that? Another undefeated team in 9A.
All right, a couple more scores in 9-man to get to tonight. Webster area over Florence Henry tonight. Jandy, the final of 46-8 there.
They're still undefeated, looking really good in that class. And then, yes, here we go. Wellesley Wessington bounces back off their loss last week with a huge win. And some really good teams left in 9-man football. Those are just a couple of them.
How about Warner in Class really 9A? Win over Hitchcock Tulare tonight. So Warner is 5-0 on the season, and Baltic is 5-0 in 9AA.
Undefeated in 9AA. I thought Alcester Hudson maybe had a chance in this one, but Caden Wolf exploded once again.
All right, when we come back, we're going to get a little zone coverage, some post-game reaction from ball games around the area tonight. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Live, our viewers' choice results this week.
They're in.
Jason.
Looks like Brandon Valley at Roosevelt will be our game that we're going to record next Friday and will air the following Wednesday on October 12th. So looking forward to that one. It's going to be a fun game. I think when you talk to Kim Nelson, he really looks forward to this game to really test and see where that Roosevelt team is at this year.
All right, let's get the zone coverage, and let's start with Minot taking on Bismarck Legacy tonight, and Minot gets the win in this one.
Actually, Thursday night, you're right.
Thursday.
And Creighton Rudolph, the quarterback of this team, is really taking charge. Talked to him after the game on Thursday.
Well, yeah, we kind of played sloppy in the first half. They were blitzing some guys, and we were just kind of getting confused. And in the second half, we told our guys at halftime, we got to come out and we got to come out and compete. And I think our linemen stepped up to the plate, and our backs made some good plays for us, and we had some nice runs there in the second half.
Huge second half for Minot, still undefeated in the WDA.
Yeah, they were down 14-13 at the half in that game. They win at 41-14. Bismarck Century with a win over Dickinson tonight.
Huge win, second week in a row. They've really come out on fire. Let's hear from the Patriots after their win.
Well, I think we put together two pretty solid weeks of football here. I think the one thing that we got back to was maybe a little bit more of our strengths, especially on offense. I thought rushing the football was going to be premium in the last 2 weeks. We've done a pretty good job. I think we've set up the play-action pass pretty well, and tonight we happened to hit a couple big plays on first down and we got over the top of them. But overall, just a nice team effort, very comparable to last week against Legacy.
I really like the adjustments that Coach Wingenbach has made since that loss that they had just 3 weeks ago to Minot, and they've really turned things around.
All right, Bismarck High win over Jamestown tonight, 56-6 the final in that one.
They go into a game like Jamestown, you probably think they're going to win, but Lucas Butts and his line have been so important. He talked about that.
Well, our line every week in practice, they work hard, and then in the games, it just pays off for them. Sprecker's a good running back. It's nice to have him alongside me to help me out, give me breathers. He's a hard runner, shifty, and he's good. Work hard from the get-go and then just keep improving as the game goes by. We've got to have a good week of practice so that we can be at a tip-top game.
Yeah, looking forward to that tip-top game.
Bismarck Century, West Fargo, Minot. Those four still.
They're the cream of the crop, and next week Minot Bismarck will face off to see who's in that real elite level.
All right, in South Dakota, elite right now in 11AA is Harrisburg. Your number one team,
Yeah.
they beat Aberdeen Central tonight 35-7.
Third week in a row, they've played a AAA team. Let's see what Brandon White had to say after the win.
We've been really struggling to get turnovers. We knew our defense, if they could fly around and make plays, we could have our offense on the field for a long time. And that's what happened in the first half. We just kind of wore them out, and we capitalized on some big plays, especially at the end of the first half. That touchdown is huge. It's very deflating. You're hanging in there 14-0, and 21-0 is a big difference at half.
All year, they have really put the pedal down in the second half. The last 2 weeks against AAA schools, they haven't had good second halves. Return to what they know best is really dominating that second half.
All right, and finally, in your 9-man game tonight, Canastota over Mount Vernon Plankington as Canastota stays unbeaten.
Big win for the Hawks. They moved up 2 classes over the last couple years. We're in 9B, we're in 9A, now in 9AA, and they're looking the part. Let's hear from the Hawks.
Pretty good. It's a big conference opponent for us, so that was one step closer to our first goal, and that's a conference title. Hats off to Coach Olson and that football team of his. Some amazing talent out there, and we rallied through some adversity all week long, and we're able to come out on top. Just a great performance for both clubs, and it was one heck of a football game.
Yeah, they got up for a big game against MVP. And they showed what they can do. Again, one of those teams in 9AA, a field that is so stacked with talent, they seem to be rising to the top.
All right, thanks to all the coaches and the players for their participation tonight in zone coverage. When we come back, we call it the rundown. We've got one big play from all 114 games that we had cameras at tonight.
115, Tom.
Varsity Sports Live on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance Agency and South Dakota State University.
Welcome back. Let's get to the rundown. Jandy, this is one big play from all of the games that we had a camera at tonight. And let's start. This was the game Thursday night. Minot big in the second half over Legacy.
Yes, huge second half for them. Down 14-13, found a way to turn it up a notch. And they show the rest of the class that they are the class.
West Fargo, another win tonight. Simone with a touchdown catch here. He had a couple of them tonight.
Yeah, Benjamin Simone getting the job done. Grabbed all, finding his favorite target.
Lucas Butts. Touchdown run as Bismarck beat Jamestown.
Yeah, another huge night for Lucas. And they're getting ready for a big matchup with Minot coming up next week.
Century beats Dickinson. Luke Little on the touchdown grab.
I don't know if there's a more impressive 2-week span from anybody in AAA than what Century's done over the last 2 weeks.
West Fargo Cheyenne outscores Red River. Keaton Mankey of Cheyenne had a couple of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, such a cluttered EDC right now. They're trying to make a name for themselves.
Mitchell goes to Lincoln and wins. I think this is the first win for Mitchell in 10 years from what I've seen tonight as they beat Lincoln. Spencer Negebauer 3 other touchdowns there. Getting behind Yankton O'Gorman, Canyon Bauer, big night for him, and Hunter Thompson.
Couple of huge plays for him. Hunter Thompson throws 2, runs 2 more in. O'Gorman with the win.
Jack Anderson, big night, 130 yards, couple of touchdowns for Harrisburg.
Yeah, he found his way into the end zone, and they polished him off in the second half.
This is the catch of the night, Jackson Yankee.
Look at this. No, he didn't. Yes, he did, Tom.
Madison stays unbeaten as they beat Sioux Falls Christian. 9-man game in North Dakota, Shiloh Christian. Fumble recovery for a touchdown here.
Yeah, they're showing they belong in that conversation, trying to earn a spot back in the Dakota Bowl. They're in the right direction.
Woonsocket, Wessington Springs, Sanborn Central at Gregory. Joe Veskerna on the touchdown grab here.
Yeah, I love watching Andy McCann throw the ball around. Gregory, they can do it running or throwing.
Canastota, this is that last play of the first half. Levi Waldhauser from Scott Jolly.
Yeah, how about that? They opened it up too. Huge week for the Hawks.
Bonham pulls out a win over Coleman Egan, 41-40. This is Mace Merkwan with that grab and touchdown run.
8 lead changes, and Bonham gets the last laugh.
5 touchdowns for Chase Corton. Irene Wakanda, and this is Clayton Menning for Corsica Stickney in their 51-0 win. Potter County over Harriet Selby. Ben Kruger with a touchdown.
Nice job by Potter County to stay undefeated. That was close all the way through, and then late, the Battlers found a way to win.
And then Fargo Shanley hangs on to beat Kindred tonight 16-7.
Great job in the red zone by Shanley, holding Kindred out. They get her done.
All right, Jandy. Well, we've got a minute here. Just a couple. Who are some of the best 9-man players? It's a 9-man night.
Let's give a shout out to Caden Wolf of Baltic, over 200 yards per game. How about Hunter Roden of Kenmare Bowballs? He averages over 300 yards passing a week. So huge statistical numbers in the 9-man game. I can go on and on. Lincoln Gibbs out of Langford's been injured the past few weeks, but definitely one of the best talents in all of the Dakotas. We could keep going. Adam Diedrich for Thompson. getting the job done for them. A lot of great players in 9-man football.
Check out Jandy with more on Wednesday nights on Varsity Sports with Jay Elson. Midco Sports Magazine, Monday night at 6:30. That'll have our 9-man story with Chad Greenway and those guys. And coming up Saturday on Midco Sports Network, football at 1 o'clock. You got Cal Poly at North Dakota. That's on 622. Also at 1 o'clock, you'll have USF and Augustana. David Brown on the call there. That is on channel 624. And then UND Hockey.
Hockey's back
tomorrow night. See
you next
fun. Friday.
Do it again,
Sports
Tom.
Live.